Well, good morning, good evening, wherever folks are. I happen to be in Tennessee today, so I'm calling you from the East Coast. But for those who don't know me, I'm Amy Harrison. I'm the Chief Development Officer with Team4Tech. And a part of the work that I do is organizing these sort of community events for fellows and nonprofits and our corporate partners to all sort of stay connected and hear not just about the past projects, but where we're going as an organization and as a group together to co-design solutions to really advance quality education for everyone around the world. And so today we're super excited because we have Katie Freund and Hannah Swenson from PSYDEH with us, and Mark Moravitz from Viasat. Super excited that you're here to share more about the projects that we've worked on together. But before we get started, I just wanted to put a plug in for our community of practice. For those who don't know about this yet, we launched an online community of practice a year ago to really scale our solutions for education-focused nonprofit organizations with things like ed tech, free workshops, certification courses, and really connections to a global community. But it is also a place for fellows to stay engaged with the nonprofits that you supported. We have a private group in there so you can engage with other fellows. You can also provide like advice and support to the nonprofits who are in there, like asking a lot of questions about AI tools and other things that you might have used. And you can give them your perspective on that. And then we do have these monthly storytelling events with our nonprofit and corporate partners. And we're looking to bring in also quarterly events that focus on leadership development. And I'm really looking to engage with some of the fellows to see like what kind of speakers would be interesting for all of you. So please join in and join the conversation. We would love, love, love to have you there. And now super excited to share a little bit more about our partnership with PSYDEH. So we launched this partnership in 2023, and in just 1 year, we've had 3 projects, 27 volunteers, many of you who are on the call, contributing almost 1,600 volunteer hours, which translated into over $330,000 of in-kind support and products, and additional grant support to buy technology that is needed for PSYDEH. And this has directly impacted, in less than 1 year, almost 1,400 individuals. So yay, 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 super excited. This is just a by the numbers, but I want to really turn it over to Katie and Hannah to introduce themselves, share more about who you're serving, PSYDEH's work, and just about some of your impact.
Thank you so much, Amy. It is so sweet to have space and time with all of you, and some folks that we've met in person, some folks that have contributed in so many different ways. We're really oriented to this idea of standing on the shoulders of giants, especially PSYDEH now having 16 years. And obviously, we're just representing 2 folks from our satellite team, but also bringing saludos from our whole field team based in the region, and all the other folks contributing to our work. So thank you. My name is Hannah Swenson. I am the sustainability coordinator at PSYDEH. For me, sustainability within our organization at this phase of our organization is all about the sustainability of our organization and the impact that we make. Katie, if you want to also do your intro, adelante.
Of course. Thanks all for having me. Really excited to be here as well. My name is Katie Freund. I am the new partnerships lead at PSYDEH. I just started this role back in July, so I'm still kind of transitioning in, but my story with PSYDEH goes all the way back to 2017. When I lived and worked in the field in Tenango de Doria. So it's really exciting to kind of be in this new phase, to get to meet all of you who I know are past and present partners, and really excited to be here and be able to discuss the great things that we've worked on together. So I'll let Hannah kind of dive in to our program information and our impact, but happy to answer questions. And I'm also around to give some more information on where we're headed moving forward.
Thank you so much. All right, this is what you'll see if you go to our new website, but we have updated a lot of images and video from the last year. There's so much going on in the field, it almost feels overwhelming how to tell the stories and tell the stories well. PSYDEH is all about community-led development. It's a very slow, consistent, ongoing process. There are lots of feedback loops in our work. But right now we're working in a 3-year container, a 3-year cooperative incubator, and somehow we're in year 2. Somehow in 2 months, we're going to celebrate the graduation of year 2 of 60 women in this cooperative incubator, participating out of 4 municipalities, which means around 15 women per cooperative in bi-weekly trainings. So we've had to date around 14 workshops. We're still going strong. And these workshops are oriented around personal and professional development. PSYDEH stands for psychology and human rights. So those threads, which are big threads, are woven through all of the work that we do. And one other flagship program running in tandem with our Sierra Madre network is Tech for All, Tech para Todos, which is specifically related and almost always confused with Team4Tech in our landscape, just similar sounding words. Team4Tech supporting our Tech for All program. This is our 2nd year, also running in tandem with the Sierra Madre network. This year, we're oriented around use and training. Last year, it was access and infrastructure. So how do you build in rural Hidalgo, Mexico, infrastructure and access to technology in regions where there is little to no phone service, where it's rare for a family to have access to a computer or for a woman partner to have ever used a computer. Build this program from scratch. We're learning along the way. There's a lot more to share on it. This year in use and training, we're really dedicated to digital literacy, digital inclusion. And next year, we're headed towards this kind of building off of training and use into innovation. I don't know how much I should get into. So
that is absolutely amazing. I love all the tech alliteration going on there too. Just incredible the work that you're doing, Hannah and Katie. And I'm really curious. So you applied to be a Team4Tech partner. Like, what made you want to apply? Like, what was your original vision for our partnership?
Absolutely. Yes, we were looped in through another nonprofit in the network, which I think also speaks volumes to the community of practice and other resources like that. I mean, this was before the community of practice, but knowing that we can connect to other organizations, ask questions, get involved, get on the phone. It's really impressive that, as you might imagine, a lot of nonprofit folks have this living dedication to their work and are really eager to connect on it. And then there's also so much nuance to the work that we're doing and how much we can learn. Again, we are building things from scratch. Community-led development in response to community means that oftentimes we're adjusting how organic and fluid can the work be within a container with set objectives and indicators so that we can prove that we're also having impact. So part of the goal, of course, we were building out this idea around access, use, and innovation, and matched that with Team4Tech goals around how to bring resource, how to bring this concept of digital inclusion to regions to support education. And I would consider our cooperative incubator to be somewhat in the alternative education realm. Maybe it's not a public school, but we are oriented around popular education models. So I was really grateful when Team4Tech was also willing to go that angle, and we learned a lot together.
That's amazing, Hannah. Anything to add on that, Katie, at this point?
No, yeah, I was just going to emphasize that for me, one of the really big, and Hannah touched on this, but for me, kind of this focus on education and reimagining what it can look like. I think Team4Tech has this really fantastic kind of orientation towards imagining how tech can change education possibilities. And that's really something. I have an education background. I was a public school teacher in Texas last year, actually. And so I am really just like passionate about reimagining the ways that we can use tech to kind of grow how we think about education and how we enable people to really become both. We call in CLA, we always talk about being both a student and a teacher. And that's really what we're trying to build kind of with our women partners, is this kind of reciprocal relationship of, you're always learning, and you're always both a student and a teacher. And so the tech, kind of the marriage of the tech piece with the education piece was to me what has been really exciting to learn about in Team4Tech's work. So
I love that. Oh my gosh. What you just said, Katie, is like exactly on our website, like one of our values, where we believe everybody has to be a learner and everybody can be a teacher. And so I see that values alignment there too. I think this would be a good time, like, and we've talked more broadly, to talk more about the actual projects that we've done. And Mark, this would be an awesome time for you to jump in and introduce yourself and maybe talk more broadly about Viasat's social impact initiatives, and particularly how you're engaging employees. And then we could drill down on like what actually happened in the projects.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Amy. Hello, everyone. I am Mark Moravitz. I co-lead global social impact at Viasat. Viasat is a space technology company. We connect and empower people, places, governments and militaries, and many of the airplanes all of you fly on all the time, including Air Force One, with connectivity in hard to reach places through our satellite network in space. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and I had the incredible privilege of co-leading and supporting our 13 amazing volunteers, many of whom are on the call right now, in our multi-month skills-based technology and digital inclusion focused project with PSYDEH. So at Viasat, we've grown rapidly over the past couple of years. We've just completed a substantial acquisition. Our headcount is right under 10,000 now worldwide. We have employees on 6 continents. And my background is in 2 things: technology and in-kind product donation, which I'm really fortunate that the product that Viasat has can make a relatively immediate and lasting impact, which is one of the elements of our partnership with Team4Tech and PSYDEH. And skills-based volunteerism. So for those of you who know Points of Light Foundation, I worked for them for many years. So my background previously was nonprofit, and now I'm on the corporate side. I convinced our leadership to give skills-based volunteerism a try, something that all of us practitioners on the call know can be risky, because there is the possibility, if not done well, if not approached in a genuine way that brings all voices equally to the table, the outcome can potentially be more harmful than if the project was not done at all. So that is what we did. Strangely and interestingly, I knew PSYDEH separately from Team4Tech. So I had approached PSYDEH. I was doing research on rural nonprofits in Latin America, specifically in Mexico, who needed connectivity. And then we simultaneously met Team4Tech. So it was kind of like a perfect marriage, almost meant to be, ordained by the universe. And just kind of a few things that I wanted to point out. Our corporate mission is digital inclusion. So Hannah and Katie pointed to that. We are in conversations with our talent development team, one of the members of whom, Allison, is on the call right now, to have a more formal inclusion and intersection of talent development and leadership development with skills-based volunteering. So this project was kind of the opening of the door to more people within Viasat kind of taking seriously the possibility that skills-based and pro bono holds to, in a very genuine, off the computer screen, out of the boardroom, help our employees sharpen their existing skills, learn new skills, flex skills that they don't typically use, both hard skills and soft skills. And then the other thing I wanted to mention too is at Viasat, we're trying to be very intentional about the multiple arms of our social impact approach. So we have our technology donation, we have our funding, our cash grant funding, and then we have the skills of our amazing 9,500 employees worldwide. And in this case, we brought all of those together, which was fantastic. So I want to thank the Team4Tech crew, of course, the CDAY crew, who I've gotten to know well and love and adore, and all of my incredible Viasat colleagues who made this possible. Many of them are still today, many months later, working regularly with CDAY, as both Katie and Hannah can attest to, and some of the folks on the phone like Renee and Corey. One of our employees who works in recruitment, this opportunity was so profound for her that she improved her Spanish skills relatively dramatically. And it's actually Chelsea, the person who you have a screenshot of their LinkedIn. And she has shifted some of her recruiting responsibilities to lead our Latin American recruitment, which again was a direct result of this project and program. So I'll stop there, see what questions, and see if any of my Viasat teammates want to add anything.
Any additions from the team at this point? Feel free to unmute and jump in. Good. Well, I am really curious to learn more about the actual projects and share more about that. Like what were you doing? I know there were various teams who were working on like, skills building stuff as well as, installing hardware. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so I feel a little bit more comfortable letting the people who did the work answer that question if you think we have time for that. I can give a brief overview.
Absolutely.
So to start, it was an assessment of needs that Team4Tech led, a very in-depth conversation with the CDAY staff to truly understand, because most corporate, most CSR social impact people, and I'll raise my hand, are kind of guilty of making assumptions like, oh, this is what our partner needs, this is what we should provide, without actually sitting down and stopping to listen. So that's one thing about this process that I deeply respect and am committed to pursuing in everything that we do in the future. So those conversations led us to 3 work streams, 3 key areas, which led us to 3 teams that our employees were divided among: digital skills and digital literacy, hardware, and marketing, outreach, communications. So we essentially supported and empowered our employees to decide which team they wanted to join based on their existing skill set, based on flex skills that they want to practice and learn, et cetera. And each of those teams had very different charters in terms of what they were responsible for, the conversations that needed to happen to develop an even deeper understanding of the needs of CDAY, the community, your various programs, et cetera, and then how to implement and support in the longer term. So I'll pause there. I do want to give my amazing Viasat teammates an opportunity to share their point of view on what the actual project looked like. If anyone, specifically thinking about everyone, but Renee and Corey on the hardware side, please be my guest.
Yeah, I can jump in. Hi everyone, I'm Corey, for those that haven't met me. So yeah, this project allowed us, because of the length of it, to really try to see what the needs were as far as internet, and even in a few of the sites, solar connectivity. There were already Viasat satellite terminals installed at some of the sites, but we wanted to make sure that what we were providing matched what the need was from both the staff and any of the community members that were using the internet that was installed in areas sometimes that didn't have reliable power or reliable internet. So we were able to go and install Wi-Fi access points and solar kits and distribute a limited bandwidth to be able to allow the staff to hop on Zoom meetings, to empower the local artisans and even the staff members to use the internet in a way that was advantageous to their specific goals. And trying to go through the rest of the things that we did here. But I think that was the main point, was to really just make the most of what we were providing, and also provide some training and some some background into how the technology works, so that anyone that used it was able to gain both the advantages of the technology itself and an understanding of how it's implemented and why.
That's really helpful, Corey. Hannah and Katie, I'm curious the impact of this. Like, what happened on your side of things after, having just this one piece of the 3 initiatives Mark mentioned? How did that impact you?
That's a great question. The entire concept of access has probably been one of the most dramatic shifts within CDAY as far as what we're able to do and how, because I have flashbacks. If I've been with CDAY almost 3 years, I have flashbacks from our first year where our field team was trying on their cell phones to get service, to be on a Zoom call that would drop every other minute. And it was a very unproductive way to work in collaboration, right? Our strategic team working remotely, and then our team in the field, and being able to work through from strategic levels to program levels to reflections on impact and logistics, et cetera, et cetera. So building out an infrastructure to have the communication tools necessary to do our work well has been a revolution for what is possible then from this point. And even now, the electricity cuts continue in the region, especially in the more rural, it's really isolated mountain region. And so if there's a big storm, if there's a blockage in the road, there's a lot of different variables that are way beyond our team's control. And so we've experienced that the power goes out, but with the solar, the satellite internet stays on. These things are huge for our team. And then also the way that now they're being integrated into programs. I would just shout out, like right now we're exploring, the cooperatives are exploring running their own e-commerce platform. That would have never been possible. We're exploring rural tourism and sustainable tourism options. That wouldn't have been possible. Other just community impact projects using technology also. We have some folks that run and lead workshops remotely, although we also know in person is wonderful. But technology, especially in a very isolated region, has ballooned the possibilities for our work as a team. And then what I also really appreciate is that there's a ripple to the socias, our women partners, and the community. So it's a really well integrated system as far as an ecosystem that can serve on all levels.
I love that, Hannah. Thank you so much. Just in the essence of time, I wanted to make sure we showed this really cool video of the partnership. I know in 30 minutes we won't be able to get to everything, but I also want to hear about the future after we show this video, and make sure to invite all of you to some upcoming events that we have. So here you go.
¿Cuál ha sido el impacto de tener un internet consistente dentro de tu comunidad?
Pues el impacto ha sido muy grande, y además de que nos facilitó los talleres del programa de Red Sierra Madre. Entonces nos acerca y también mantiene comunicadas tanto nosotros como profesionistas como nuestras socias.
PSYDEH is an incredible organization empowering women in a very rural part of Mexico, from focusing on lack of and turning the focus to empowerment.
He descubierto en mí que puedo ser alegre, de que pues una mujer no solo tiene que estar en la casa, tiene que echar tortillas y atender el marido, que también una mujer puede salir adelante.
So what we did was we took a look at the existing infrastructure that Viasat donated to the PSYDEH sites, which included solar kits in areas where the power was very sparse or non-existent. We wanted to create a network that was built for not just the PSYDEH staff, but the entire community to use. Yeah, so for me, it's been really fascinating and inspiring to see how the internet can be maximized for impact.
Pues para enseñarles a valorar el trabajo que uno hace, a ponerle precio a nuestro trabajo, y porque PSYDEH sabe que la gente que trabaja en el campo o la gente artesana, pues como mucha gente no estudió, no tuvo estudio, no fue a la escuela, no saben hacer cuentas para sacar a vender el producto.
I think it's super important that companies put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and Viasat has allowed so many of us to make a difference, and I think it's incredible.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so before I launch into this, I'm just curious, final thoughts on what you're excited about in the future. Hannah and Katie, like 30 seconds, go. And then Mark, 30 seconds, go.
Okay, what if we split 15-15? Ready to go. So I just wanted to update folks that it's really exciting. We're finally getting to actual computer training in these next 2 months. Really, we've been using cell phones because that's the most accessible technology, and we're starting where the community is at, working on phones. But we're bringing Viasat donated computers to the region and bringing, well, they're already in the region, but to bring through these trainings, also using curriculum from Viasat's team from last year to make it happen. Really cool. And we'll be having our year 2 graduation and a huge regional conference in November. And just an open invitation for folks to stay connected on all things and or reach out to us directly, because there's always really cool ways to collaborate, especially because we have all this great technology. Katie, adelante.
Yeah, no, I think Hannah's really summed it up. On the kind of organizational end for what this means for us at PSYDEH, I just want to plug that these kinds of partnerships and these kinds of like really kind of pronged partnerships really enable us to do more than we thought was possible. And on the organizational end, we are already at the point where we can consider looking towards the world of expansion in terms of our replicable model, in terms of reaching more communities, reaching different age groups as well, thinking about what it means to reach the whole community, children and men, in addition to our very important women leaders. So kind of feels like sky's the limit. And I think a large part of that is based on the partnerships that we build with people like Viasat. So,
Mark.
Yes. So I think we're excited to continue our collaborative partnership with PSYDEH for sure. Digital inclusion is access plus adoption. So we want to continue down the path of learning and understanding our role and how we can best support and be a partner in the adoption piece. I think I remain excited about the possibility of sitting with PSYDEH's other corporate partners and seeing kind of what we can do together, because understandably, we've kind of been working separately, and that makes sense. And then third, in terms of our digital inclusion and skills-based volunteer mission, this provided us with a really high set of expectation for ourselves, our employees, et cetera. So we're very excited to continue that work in the future.
Thanks, Mark. And my final plug is that if you find yourself in the Bay Area on October 13th, our sponsors have made it possible for volunteers to go to this event at no charge. And so it is a way for us to celebrate our 10 years of collaborative impact, and we would absolutely love for you to join us. It's going to be really fun. There's going to be music, awards, really fabulous dinner, so we hope you join. And last but not least, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Program Officer, Lindsay Kincaid, to plug about some upcoming events that we have that you can access through the community of practice, which is linked here.
There are so many events always happening in the community of practice. These are just a few that are on the screen and that we wanted to highlight. But each month we're having a networking event that's open to anyone in the community of practice. So people who are new, people who are more established, more of a casual breakout room type environment for us to talk impact, talk education. Tomorrow we're hosting an event that's kind of the culmination of a lot of the literacy work that we've been talking about the past few weeks. We have our friends from World Reader coming and presenting. So I encourage you, if you are available tomorrow, to join that. It's going to be a great discussion. Also have, I believe, a partner from Ghana who's going to come in and talk about a specific initiative related to Ghana. And then one of my favorite organizations in the world is called Slam Out Loud, working with social emotional learning with under-resourced learners in India specifically is what Slam Out Loud is, but performance poetry of like how that creates empathy and gets students more involved. And so they're going to share out their learnings from their specific context and help the rest of the community think about getting started. And then our expert on co-design solutions, Dr. Jody Britton on our team, is leading a co-design workshop for everybody at the 1st of October, followed by some M&E workshops that we have on tap as well. So thanks for giving us a space to plug those, Amy. Hope that you all can join in some of these.
And thank you, everybody, Hannah, Katie, Mark, and to all of the volunteers from Viasat, from Cadence, from everywhere. Like, we just can't do this without you. And our co-design partnerships are so, so, so important. We are so grateful. And thanks so much. I hope everybody has a beautiful day.